Sunday and Memorial Day weekend, and I am in Colorado as of the posting of this video. So I wanted to kind of set up this particular video for what I saw at the Overland Expo. If you're looking for an overall review of the Expo or a lot of footage about what's in each aisle or talking to vendors or anything like that, then this is not going to be a video that interests you. It's just me with a few clips here and there of some things that I saw, and then a couple of clips of me talking about a couple of different things, and that's pretty much it. I didn't want to do a whole segment on the Overland Expo. I mean, there's a million videos out there already like that. This is just my experience with it. So what ended up happening is I met Mike and John at a campsite the night before we went into the Expo, or John and I did, and we checked in on Sunday. We were one of the first ones to stage, and it was a dust bowl, so it was really windy, a lot of dust blowing around, but luckily when they ended up parking us at the campsite, we had some really nice shade under some pine trees, and actually I'd say almost everywhere that people camp, they had a really nice location like that. The motorcycle campers, the regular campers, so it was a nice venue. I heard that last year it was kind of a debacle with the parking and everything, but this year everything seemed to be working really well, so we didn't have any issues with that. So John and I, and John from over the hill, over the mountain, he and I went in together. We camped next to each other, so it was great to meet with him and talk with him and look at his setup and everything. And then the people all around us, they were super cool, very friendly, great conversation. I got to see a couple of their rigs, and just kind of get some ideas as to what I would like to do, possibly in the future. But when it comes right down to it, I had watched Expo videos before, so I had an idea of what it's like. But it's just money. That's all it is. It's keeping up with the Joneses at a whole other level. Instead of keeping up with the Joneses for your house, you're doing it for your Overland rig. So instead of a $20 shovel, you've got a $300 shovel. Instead of a $400 bumper, there's a $4,000 bumper. I mean, it's just, the amount of money was kind of crazy. This is just my opinion, by the way. The best comment I heard while I was there was somebody was walking by and they said to somebody else, I had no idea that camping was this expensive. And it is absolutely right. I knew I wouldn't be buying much there, and unfortunately there wasn't a whole lot for older vehicles. John did say that at the East Expo, because he went to that one, there was more stuff geared towards older TJs, CJs, XJs, and older vehicles, but there really wasn't that here at the West Expo. But I did pick up a few organizational things, and that's kind of why I went. I got to hear some great conversation. So when you do go to these expos, you can listen to people talk about different things, about planning, about first aid. We met the couple that was giving a talk on overlanding to Alaska the night before at the campsite that we stayed at, and I went and listened to them, and it was a great conversation. They took a lot of questions from the people, but a great talk, and I learned a few things, some things to look out for when I go up there to Alaska, because that's what I'm doing on this trip. So it was great from the perspective of listening to other people, seeing other people's rigs, and I definitely steered away from all the money things. I mean, I don't need anything made of titanium or aluminum, aircraft grade aluminum or anything like that. But if that's what you want, then definitely the Expo's for you. And I get it. These vendors pay a lot of money for these spots, so they're going to sell high-end and high-margin stuff. And so I understand that. They're not, but there were a few vendors that sold the lower type products, organizational products, $10, $20, $30 items, and that's kind of what I bought when I was out there to make my life a little bit more easy with things that I'm doing with this particular vehicle. So that was great too. Like I said, so it was good to meet the people, good to hear the discussions, the talks. It was good to see some of the stuff that was out there. I did talk with one particular company that takes the Ford equivalent of the Sprinter van, and they sell the whole van configured with a really nice easy style setup that you can configure. And so I talked with them, because if I ever decided to buy something that was more comfortable than this, that we didn't really want to take off-road, that was definitely more in my price point. And I thought it was a really cool deal, so I'm going to keep that in mind for the future if, you know, my girlfriend and I decide that that's what we want to do in the future. But, you know, for now, there wasn't a whole lot of value add for me, but I think every Overlander should do it. I mean, just for no other reason, talking with all the other people, and the community is super awesome, very helpful, very informative, very friendly. So, you know, to camp near these people and to talk with them and to meet John, see the Expo, and sorry about the lighting, the sun is kind of low in the sky. It's only 9 o'clock and we're making a lot of turns. But yeah, from all that perspective, I thought it was worth it. I'd probably never spend an entire weekend there. We checked in on a Thursday, and I was out by Saturday morning. I could have stayed till Sunday. It got to, you know, below freezing overnight, and I think the night that I was leaving, it was supposed to snow. I don't know if it did or not, but I had already, you know, walked through the whole thing twice, and that was enough. So I might go to it again and just pay for a day pass, possibly. So I'm actually thinking I might change my YouTube channel to IDGAXJ Simple Overlander. I've already done it to my Instagram, which is really, I'm not paying that much attention to my Instagram account, but just because John and I, we were literally the most simple Overlanders. There was another gentleman that had a Land Rover, and he was sleeping in his, and he was right there actually with us. But, you know, for me, I give up a lot of creature comfort, for one, for cost, and two, for, you know, just being simple, to having less things to go wrong, and three, I give up comfort for that too. But I can still sleep in this thing, and that's why I don't have a rooftop tent or a trailer. I want to go wherever I want to go, and I want to be able to stealth sleep without having to pop up the tent to sleep comfortably. And John actually has a more simple setup than I do, and it works for him. Mine works for me. It wouldn't work for a lot of people, I understand that, but again, just my opinion. More power to you if that's where you're at and got the money to spend, and do what makes you happy. And it's just so much overkill there. It like I said, probably tell the way I'm talking, it's just mind-blowing. So anyway, that's my experience at the Expo. Even with, you know, all the money that was there, like I said, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed meeting John. I enjoyed meeting Mike the day before, and I enjoyed talking to everybody that we that came into our camper that we ended up talking to, and just, you know, trading stories. And I thought that was awesome. That was a really cool experience. The Overland community, in my opinion, is really cool. Everybody that I've ever met that's an Overlander is just more than willing to talk about things, give you tips, help out, and I love that about this community. I think it's really, really cool. So anyway, stick around for the few clips that I do have of the Overland Expo, and, you know, what our camp spot looked like. But as always, you know, thanks for watching. Leave your comments below, you know, either agree, disagree, whatever it might be, and subscribe, hit the like button, and talk to you later.
Like that, you can do this. I'll do it a lot of times, so you don't have to get a lot of it, either custom or aftermarket.
So I'm heading back from my first round of the Expo. I didn't actually see everything, but I think I saw about 75% of it. I'll probably be back later on today and definitely tomorrow, but managed to pick up a few things unexpectedly, but that I should find useful on my trip. So down there is where the Expo is, down that long trail, and we are parked in this area here. So it's not too bad of a walk, and since it's not too cold, just windy, it's not a bad location actually. So I'm located right down there, and the showers, there's 3 porta potties there, the closest ones, but we've already learned that everybody uses those, so we don't venture into those anymore. I haven't really walked around the campsite yet checking out everybody's rigs. We've met a couple more of the neighbors, all nice people, and John and I are pretty much the only XJs out here. We've seen a couple of others, but I don't see them anymore, so I don't know if they were just staging here or what, but we're kind of the oddballs when it comes to overlanding, and we've also found out that we are the simplest overlanders for sure, because it is just crazy the amount of stuff that people have and how much luxury they live in. It's pretty awesome in a way. But here's our setup. John is trying to sell his Yeti since he bought a fridge. Here he is, and eventually I'll do a walk around and maybe show some of the vehicles around here, but for now I'm gonna take a break, get something to eat, and see what John thinks about his new Dometic fridge. So here is where my Jeep is parked, and straight out there is the road, which is really nice. When we leave, it won't be hard to get to. And as you can see around me, I've got space behind us. This person here is just in a tent, and then to the side of us is just a larger tent, and we've actually got a couple of Dometic reps staying right beside us, and John just bought one of their refrigerators so they can answer questions if he has any. We met that gentleman over there and his wife, and a super nice couple. And then these 3 gentlemen here all have rooftop tents, and they've all done well in the high winds that we've had come gusting through here on occasion. So it's a pretty decent setup. It rained a little bit last night, but nothing to make anything too muddy, and I don't think it's supposed to rain anymore. So other than it being really windy and getting cold really fast once the sun starts to go down, it's been pretty decent. So I'm here Saturday now, and it is much better weather, not nearly as windy, but the coolest part about this show to me is these older vehicles. I think this International here is really cool. There's been some really nice Toyotas, and haven't seen hardly any old Jeeps or anything like that. Everything is pretty much new, which is understandable. It's the Overland Expo, but John was telling me that there was a lot more stuff for older vehicles at the East Expo, but not so much here at the West. I still managed to find a couple of things, not specifically Jeep related, but overall there's not a whole lot here other than a ton of money.
I get it. We're kind of in the same boat.
Sale here, basically wholesale pricing. If you want anything, we're selling solid waste price.
So I'm heading back from my trip on Saturday through the Expo. Picked up a few more things, got some more bungee cords because I really liked them when I was using them yesterday, and then stumbled on a couple of other things that would be really useful while I'm out. Much warmer today. Actually, I had to take a layer off, probably could take off 2 more layers, but overall pretty good trip, and now I'm gonna head out and start heading south. So here is the motorcycle and tent city area, and as you can see, they have quite a bit of space, and it's a nice shaded spot. They haven't got much more full than this. So overall, I think for those guys, it's a nice venue for them to stay overnight. And the same thing with us over where I'm at. Plenty of room, even though there's quite a few of us in there. Definitely plenty of room. The trees make it nice with the shade, but overall, pretty happy with the accommodations. So here is one of the only XJs we've actually seen. I think I've seen only 3 other ones, and man, looking at the body on this is the first time I've walked up close to it, but this is a really nice condition XJ. Love the color. Very cool. Check out all the countries this rig has been to. Alright, so this thing, I am definitely going to have to look up his Instagram. That is just wild. I guess we got lucky where we camped, because everybody here is on all this dirt. And with the wind, with the way it was blowing the last couple of days, that would have just been a disaster. These guys are going to spend days cleaning out their vehicles if they want all that dust gone. So I guess I'm pretty lucky that we got to camp in an area like that. All right, back at the Jeep. Luckily this morning I had some time to kill, so I already have it configured to travel. And just about everybody around me has left. Larry, the guy we met with the Land Rover, he's gone. Bill, I've got to check out his YouTube channel. I can't remember what it was, but he's from Idaho, and he had a channel with his little dog and about their adventures. John, over the hill, over the mountain, he's gone. And even one of the 3 guys that was behind us has taken off. So a lot of everybody that was here when we came in on Sunday, and now they're trying to I guess get a jump on things. And I guess once you've walked around it a couple of times, you don't need to do it much more unless you want to check out the events that are going on and things like that. In my case, I listened to a few speakers, which I thought was pretty worthwhile to listen to other people's views on things and adventures and things like that. So that was actually part of the better section of the Overland Expo that I enjoyed. But now that back at the Jeep, I'm just gonna throw my stuff in a bag and get a move on. I'm gonna head to Phoenix first and then on to Tucson.